sure some of you have never even thought about it before. Alaska it's deviated from the American map. But I'm sure so many of you have heard about Alaska. Alaska is in the US. No, Alaska is in the North American sub-region, the continent of North America. But you need to cross Canada before you get to Alaska. But if you're in Alaska, you are an American. Now, prior to Alaska becoming Alaska, Alaska was a land that belonged to Russian Federation. I think they only made sense to let that land off because if you think about the geographical position of it, if you think about the map angle of it, that land is much more part of the North American continent than it is a part of Russia. So even if they did a claimation of it, it could heighten tension in today's world. They literally sold that land to America. Like, can you imagine trade between two countries? Just say, let's say, like Ghana selling the Volta region part to Togo. That hey, we don't want this land again. Now it belongs to Togo. Then they'll carve it as part of their map, and then there's a signature that is going to be. They sold it for, if you go back in history, I think $7 million or something, which is probably going to be billions of dollars in today's terms. But yeah, so you can see how, like Russia, again, I say, is positioned within all these regions, right? Now, amidst all the colonization and grab of land that was really going on, right? Russia was the only country who didn't fight for any of that. Right, they did not even take a piece. You're looking at me. Are you okay? Russia did not take a piece. Look, they had all the nukes, or the powerful force, or the army, or the superpower. They did not take a piece. They let the Europeans take and then ransack all of African resources. But now they've seen that the West is overstepping their boundary. They literally over twisting in their life. They want more. They don't want to just. So now Russia is also pretty much, the whole politics with Putin going on. He's a smart man, pretty much also stepping foot into the continent now and creating a bilateral relationship where it's not like, hey, I'm coming in to take this and then ransack and then squeeze and what's the name, cheat you out of situation, but build a relationship where it's like a fair trade going on. So more of African leaders, especially those on the northern part, right, are beginning to lean more towards that relationship, that confidence, that friendship that Putin is building. So it's like they like Putin more than to deal with the West because hand go hand comes scenario. And then the West already knew how significant Putin is when it comes to the affairs of Cold War. He has a lot of nukes. He has a lot of they've created a lot of intelligent Americans can overstep their boundary when it comes to Russia. I think if the world did not have Russia, and to some extent significantly China, because of the relationship they have with Russia and China, they are very good friends, then we would have been in a doom. You know what I mean by doom? Because everything in the world would have easily been dictated by America. Hey, we want this, they would have it. Hey, we want to stop this. Hey, look, I'm not a pro-American hatist or whatever it is. I'm speaking reality based on a fair ground, based on what we all can evidently see going on around us, right? Military superpower who bluffs their wings up, you get the Americans doing that. Nukes who bombed Nagasaki, Hiroshima, America. If you look at Libya, right, in alliance with NATO, Obama's regime, who took control of Libya and then destroyed their then existing leadership and then instated democracy, which has led them to a downhill. America. If you go into Gaza, if you go into Lebanon, if you go into what's the name, Iraq, you can mention and mention and mention and mention. So it's like Russia has just become that third eye that's like, okay, you can do all you want to do, but don't cross path towards me. But suddenly it's like they're beginning to lean more towards each other and be like, okay, you want to show me that you're the superpower? I also show you that I am also there, right? Now, there's a funny thing that is really going on in the world. If there's going to be, you see, so let me show you. Let's say the world map is like this, right? This is America. This is Europe, right? And then Russia is like this, right? So America, Europe, Russia. Now, you realize that if this is the disposition, and America and Russia want to fight, why can't they just fight directly like this and leaving the rest of the world out? You know that these people like to do their fight drills like this, throwing jabs, affecting Europe to now lead on to Russia, rather than dealing with themselves directly, because Alaska is somewhere like here. Do you get me? And then Canada is somewhere like here before America is like this. So this is Russia, they give off this Alaska land to America. Now if they're fighting, you can just, two of you can just fight like this. Plant your bomb here, throw it at each other. No, they like to always involve Europe because they know that at that point there's a lot at stake, and then now they can escalate it, and that's where it will become like third world war, you know, because if it's only two countries, it's just like Russia and Ukraine fighting. It cannot become a world war, you know. So it's like just two countries just in a contingent against themselves. But the moment it becomes like here involved, then we can now call it third world war. If you think about the world wars, First World War, Second World War, Africa was not part. South America was not part. Even major part of Asia was not part. Middle East was not part. Now why did they call it World War? The Second World War the same. Africa was not part. Majority part of Asia was not part. Middle East was not part. South America was not part. But it's called what? Second World War. You know, even though if you think about it, most of the African troops now were imported into most of these Asian regions, come and fight for some of their soldiers, help them fight and all those things, you know. So you have to be very interested in global politics to understand all these things, right? Now what I'm saying, what I've been sharing is Russia is now stamping its feet and ground in the African region, right? So that they create a more lasting relationship. Now African leaders are now, again, the ECOWAS head or whatever it is, right? The AU are now forming an alliance to go and fight or to declare war against Niger, right? Now let me show you something. If you look at the African map, again, it's just like this, right? The African map is just like this. And then Nigeria is here, Niger is here, right? And then the rest of Europe is also here, like that. Nigeria has recently launched their, as always, they always would. You know, Nigeria is a very funny part of the equation. They've launched a huge, of course they've already had it. Now they've also launched another huge oil exploration. You see, Russia is here, right? Russia is somewhere here in the mix. Now because of the war that was going on between Russia and Ukraine, which is just somewhere here, right? And then the gas pipeline that led from Russia into Europe was destroyed. Europe is beginning to be smart that these Russians, if there is war, disagreement, they tend to want to use the exportation of oil as more like a ransack against us, or hold that up onto us. So they're trying to lean off dependency on Russian gas and oil. The Europeans are trying to lean off that. They don't want to, be too dependent on Russia. So now they're trying to create blocks and systems in different countries that also come in as major, oil producers, including Nigeria. And quite recently, they've invested in building a pipeline that leads from Nigeria which passes through Niger, passes through North America, and then enter Europe. Now already, France is depleting Niger's uranium, taking no benefit coming back to the people. They've also now dug up a whole pipeline from A to B, and then these people, they are not even getting any goodwill out of that, any compensation for using of their land to export. And then it's not as if there's a juncture in that equation where they benefit off some of the exportation that goes on. So their military men are like, look, it's enough is enough. We now want to take charge and control. And you see, when it comes to these affairs, right, it's not only about governance, right? It's not only about governance. It's also now goes on to what? The power of what? The power of corporations, right? American corporations, they are like countries, right? There's a huge corporation that also has involvement in that whole process. I've forgotten their name, right? And they're like, it's too much for us to now be heavily invested in this gas pipeline for suddenly Niger to block. Because look, now they've closed their borders. Not only their borders, but they've closed their airwaves. Right now, if you fly a plane over Niger airwaves, it's likely to come down, crumble. They will bomb it. You know, quite recently I was watching, apparently Niger also has a huge import of onions, right? I was watching how some Ghanaian traders, right? Ghanaian traders imported onion from Niger, and because the border is closed, they couldn't leave Niger for so many weeks, and now all the onion, tons of onion, which cost them millions of cedis, literally went rotten, right? So you can imagine that it is just even a commodity. You can imagine the economic halt that is going on with these huge corporations that has been halted by the gas pipeline flowing from Nigeria to Europe. You know, so there's so much politics that is going on that is way beyond the normal African man's comprehending, and then we are always just on the sideline thinking, they are fighting and cremu forward, don't pentokwa too much, it's stream forward, they are saying this and this. But what can we do about it? Continent has just been continuously sold. You know, I don't know if our leaders don't read. You know, this morning again I was also reading about and then listening to one of the political force in the country Ghana. It's called Kwesi Pratt, literally talking about a deal that America had with Ghana in terms of creation of a base. And in that deal is insane, because now with their base, even our president cannot go into that base, right? Without their permission. It's like the land is now like an American land. That small portion of the base is like American land. Their soldiers can fly into the base without being checked by our port and harbor. They can export things out of the base without being checked. It's like the base is a whole new country, and it's insane, you know. But this is Africa, and we always have to as far as it's benefiting one family, they're okay. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to raise an uproar, you know. And the continent is just continuously going downhill. We have to just deal with it like that, you know. You have to just continuously deal with it. Let me now read some of your questions, though. They are playing war games in the global map. Yes, they are. Somebody was talking about the Wagner man, right? Apparently, the world is a big compound house. The world actually is a big compound house. I see Rick showing up. I saw Terry type something. Looks like a hairdryer to me. Looks like a hairdryer. Me, my African map looks like a hair. Terry, you know, correct. They can dry your hair. Just use this live to talk about Nigeria's predicament. All eyes on the judiciary. Let's talk about Africa. I'm not too much into issues pertaining one portion of a global matter. I really like to look at the macro level of it, not like what is happening in Nigeria, unless it affects like global politics. You know, I'm a macro type of person. I look at things on the bigger scheme of things. You know, I have always seen presidency and ruling as simple, but our leaders bunch of impossibles. Russia and China are tackling America. I like what they're doing. Yeah, can you explain the EFF in South Africa? What do you mean by EFF? You know, if it's happening on a local grounds, right? Then I may not just have like much involvement or much knowledge of it. But if it's like more in a global sphere, then I may have some opinion about it. How will it affect the market from now onwards? It's not really going to affect, you know. I see so many people getting worried about, okay, if the BRICS is instituted, how is it going to affect? How is it going to affect? How will it look at the level at which we trade, right, as traders? Even let them bring stone as a currency versus stone versus, let's say, sand, right? Like, you know, the way we trade GBP USD, we're trading Euro USD. Let them bring STOSND, which represents stone and sand. All you have to do is watch what the price trails and profit of it. So normally I don't care about what is going to affect what and what is going to affect what. You know, if you want to understand it, how it's going to now, let's say, affect it in terms of like economic progression or not, that's on a different scale. You know, if you want to also understand it on an economic point of view, business point of view, but if you want to understand it on trading point of view, then I don't think that they got anything on trading, you know, because the reality is, as traders, whether the world is in hay or the world is going in shambles, we actually still do benefit and profit. In fact, we profit the most when the world is in shambles, right? And that's also another angle to the whole thing. When the financial controllers, they are bored, right? And let me just put it this way instead. When the world is getting boring, the financial controllers of the world get bored. Because when nothing is happening in the world, there's not much to make monetary wise. So all the time, they're cooking something. And then you, the independent trader, have to be on the edge to see that bigger picture and understand that these predicaments is actually quote unquote good, right? And the benefit of it. Like, you see, when the world is peaceful and nothing is going on, right? Just look at just what happened in, let's say, March of April. Right, so many traders complaining on several platforms. The market is down, no volatility, and that. It's because briefly the world is somewhat at a juncture of peace. Plus, technically you can say much of the people that move the market are on holidays. But you can say that this is how it's going to be if there weren't any major occurrences and predicament going on in the world. So it's like everybody's just going to be chilled. It's not going to be money moving around. So they always, right? I'm not part, so I want to say we. They always find a way to create, you know, those type of occurrences. Somebody mentioned COVID, right? We had the likes of the BRICS, right? And then we have Russia, Ukraine. Something is going to come again. Do you know that in the prime part of like Donald Trump's reigning, right? Then it was always about America, China, right? Do you guys remember that? Today's imposition of this, tomorrow is imposition of this, query of this, query of that, banning China here and there and there and there and there. And then it was always creating volatility. It was always creating movement, liquidity, money moving and exchanging hands, control, exchange of currencies, exchange of asset classes and stuff like that. So these things will not stop. In fact, we need them. You know, so now that we're here, we have to just be positioning ourselves to watch out for what is the next big thing. Only that you want to pray that you are in a region that is free from the reality of what is going on the ground. Because imagine that you're in Russia not even Russia, you're in Ukraine, and you say, oh, I'm in Ukraine, I'm a trader, I don't care about what is going on in the economy, I'm going to benefit of it. You'll be there and they'll drop nuke on your building. You see if all the profit you are taking will make any sense. But if you're in a region that is far from that conflict, that you understand the gameplay of the financial market, you can leverage off it huge and turn your life around. People do that all the time. People make insane money from the market. I know a group of guys who traded oil, from their bunker when oil went ground to zero. Of course, the world had not got to a point in time where we're gonna, diminish the relevance of oil or not use oil. So they knew it was the best time to trade it back up. I think that I was probably too naive, if you look at me, because I was really by my computer when oil dropped to zero, right? On the first day, it was frozen on so many platforms. You couldn't trade oil. But with what I know now, and with the kind of money that of course, the second aspect is that apart from me being naive, I also didn't have money, But like I'm saying, with what I know now, if let's say I'm here, and then gold price for some reason drops to zero, I'll sell my house, I'll sell my cars, I'll liquidate all my investment, and then add all those money to the money I have in my trading account and use all to buy gold, and then just sleep for the next 1 year or 2 years, and you see the price of gold. What I'm saying is the reason that you have to open your mind to think about, right? If you're not smart, you will never understand what I just shared there. But these are some of the things, some of the ways you can profit from, the global dispensation of economic happenings, right? I want to share my screen with you so that you get a picture I'm trying to create, right? Let me share my screen with you so that you get a picture. Right now, if you watch here, look, I was by my screen when this thing happened, right? I was sitting by my screen, and you see here, was this zero? You see here, oil came to zero. Imagine that what I'm telling you, I sold all my life savings and property and holdings, and then I bought oil here, and then I left it for that 1 year. Let's calculate how long it would have taken me. It would have taken me. Okay, I gotta change the tool. I gotta use a different one. I think I gotta use which one? Date range, yes. From here all through to here, it would have taken me. Look at the number of days. It would have taken me 761. We're talking about 2 years, right? 2 years plus. And then if you look at the pips, let's look at the pips as well. From here all through to here, we're talking about, if I'm very right, 12,500 pips, right? 12,500 pips. 12,500 pips, right? So do your maths. If I had the knowledge, right, that I have today, and then you ask me that, what will I have done in the oil situation? That's what I would have done. I'd have sold all my properties and then bought oil and then sleep. All of you are doing order block, blah blah blah, fair value gap, wine, itikoye dien, the 9 koye dien, candle closure, support, resistance, liquidity. I would just be sleeping and laughing. Small boys are young. And then the year will end, 2 years will end. you see who the real champion is. You know, you need this type of knowledge to flourish, to succeed, to make big money. You know, so that's why it's important to understand these type of global happenings. You know, that's why we get excited. That's why we get excited to want to understand. Like people are talking about issue of breaks, issue of this. You want to get interested and understand them for these reasoning. You know, for these reasoning. Like right now we're here, and if like let's say indeed BRICS announce their new currency, and suddenly it plummets DXY to an unbearable low, right? Let's say, what is the most unbearable low in the history of DXY? You can watch it here, right? You see here, this is the dollar index. Let me probably just use, okay, let me just cover my markings. Yeah, so if you look at here, is the dollar index. It determines the strength and weakness of the dollar at any point in time. If you watch here, this is just around 71, right? This is the average of 71 of the index, and then the highest is about what? 164. And currently, excuse me, it's just around 100, right? Now I'm saying that BRICS announces it takes the index. I think if I put this there, it's going to bring the colors back. BRICS announces it takes the index all the way back to their low of 71, right? Which literally has a direct effect on what is going to happen in, let's say, pound dollar. Pound dollar is going to, let's say, rally, right, all the way up. Let's say, you can take all the crosses, right? Suddenly, you are watching it first hand. You're watching it first hand, right? And then the dust settles, the volatility settles. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do from there? Are you just going to watch it? Are you going to watch it drop like this and come all the way back up like that? Just like we saw happening with the oil that I just showed you. You can see oil here. I literally watch oil do what? Drop like this and went all the way back up like that. I literally watched it. Do you get me? I don't tell you what to do. Figure it out yourself. Excuse me. What's wrong with me? Maybe. Can you help me with water? Are you okay? You're tired. I doubt if the XY will behave like that. This is just a hypothesis, right? This is a hypothetical illustration. I'm not saying that's what is going to happen. I'm just showing you that if such huge things occur in the world like that, you have to look at it from the bigger picture to know how to be reactionary, right? Thank you. What are we going to be doing for the rest of the day, by the way? What do you want us to do? Just sleep, read, play a game, watch movies, go out.
I can do that.
Which one?
All of it.
How can we sleep, go out, eat,
My
read?
day is still long. Sleep small, eat small, read small, go out small. You can kill two birds with one stone. Go out and eat. Then when you come back, come and sleep
And read.
Then you watch TV
And play game. Okay. Yeah, guys, I think that I've shared enough with you guys. I've shared a lot, you know, in reference of how I view the world and how I use it to also view the financial market as a whole, right? So all the time, I have my ears on the ground, and then it makes me more curious about happenings, and it makes me want to read more, want to research more. You know, there's a particular thing that I'm creating, right? After I create that thing, I don't think that when I finish creating that thing, I'll be a billionaire. Or what will I be? Trillionaire. It requires a lot of money. I'm probably gonna have to spend $500 million. You know, like anywhere from 300 million to $500 million. Of course, I don't have that type of a resource now. So it's also telling you that I'm gonna have very huge big players involved, which I've already started, establishing those relationships and then, networks. Quite recently I prepared a whole solid presentation for one of these people that I'm yet to work on such ventures with. These are top guys who would easily put up 100 million, 200 million on the table as far as it makes sense to them. So it's a hedge fund. No, it's not the hedge fund. It's a product. I said a product. I'm creating a product. It's a global product, and almost everybody's going to use that thing. But yeah, we're working on it. So gradually, and it's a long-term thing. It's not like you open your eyes, you see it tomorrow. You open your eyes, you see it the next day. That's why small minds keep asking me, "Yeah, could you when I bring you a prop firm and stuff like this?" Those are secondary things. I've just put them somewhere in the line. If I feel like okay, I want to do this, I'll just dish out and then just establish it. But if I was probably 25 years. 24 years, I'd be interested in could you when I bring you a prop, then I'm just chasing all those hype. But I'm aiming for something that is so huge than just that, And I'm so close. I'm very, very close to that. You have no idea. I'm very, very close to those type of dealings, So how much is your prop funding or prop stuff? But anyway, that is also in the line though. So hopefully if I get to work on that and get that into completion, you're going to see that it comes into life. If not as well, we take it like that. But so many things working on. I'm currently working on about 5 things at a time. The prop is one of them though, as you're already excited about. But the 4 other ones are so huge. The joy I can see in your eyes. Is could you bring in a broker? Oh, none of that. Far from that, guys. You're creating your own crypto. I like how everybody's just trying to predict and try to guess it. It's far from that. It's far from that. The only people that know it is myself and my wife. You want to push the market yourself. Anyway, what can we talk about again? Today is for you guys. Anything that you want me to talk about? This person is mad. Do you know who I'm talking about? Which one? How did you know? This one is so smart. He just knew it would just be that one, eh? sad these foolish American and European coming to Africa without visa, while African need visa to their country. I mean, it's just how it is. Just how the world is. The world is formulated and organized, which doesn't make any sense to me though, but who are you to fight? You're one man. The whole it's insane, you know? It's insane because think about somebody who is in Japan, who's in Germany, who's in America, what they can do in their life. They can literally pick a piece of a book and explore the whole world. I was watching one woman's YouTube. This woman is on a global exploration just with a motorbike. She goes to Ghana. She goes from Sierra Leone, enters Ivory Coast, into Ghana, into Togo, into Benin, into Nigeria, and she's going down the belt. All she's just using is her Netherlands passport, which is an European passport. You Ghana man, you won't go neighboring Togo self. The way them go stress you, you know, to talk about wanting to now take it to a foreign continent. We are very backwards. Our leaders are. I wish we could have an uproar. You know, my dad don't like me talking like that. He's a policeman, so always like. But I wish the whole continent could have an uproar and fight against this type of nonsensical oppression and dictations, and who determines who is relevant and who is not relevant. It doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense if you ask me. It doesn't make one sense. You know, and now, as a kid, you have to just pray to your God that when He's putting you in somebody to come out on earth, you're coming from an insanely wealthy family, or you're born in any of these countries. You know, but why must it be that way, though? Why must it be that way? It must not be that way. It must not be that way. Opportunities exist in so many countries. Don't underestimate that. Because their leaders created it that way. So when will our leaders, you know, I always like to even use this country, Dubai, as a center focus when I'm talking about these type of things, right? If you watch their documentary in the early 1990s, 93, 95, 2000, all through to like even 2010, at a significant height of 2010, this country was not anywhere close to what it is now, all right? Because remember, Burj Khalifa was completed in 2010, or started, I think completed. If you watch those documentary and picture, surroundings of the Burj, it was lifeless, you know. Let me show you. You should be watching some of these things. They will inspire you, you know, and then you also understand this is Dubai. This is Dubai in 1990, right?
People always ask us what advertising is. It's a business of rejection. You have to expect it every day.
This is Dubai in 1990, guys. Look at it. This Dubai, the Dubai that we are all hyped and excited about. This is Dubai in 1990. Plain desert with just a few trees here and there. Nothing to be proud about. But today, you cannot just come here anyhow. You have to have money. Look at it. I'm sure if they dash this country to you, you would not take it. It took a decision. It took one person to decide that no, we gotta change this. If it can be done somewhere else, it can also be done in our region. they started a conscious effort of making that happen. Look at this. Till date, this thing exists. This small map or design that they've done here, it still exists till date, right? So I think that this is like a pictorial documentation that shows the evolution. That's what's you see? You see how the region was? Just dust. This 1960s. Right? Look at them. Nothing much. Just fishers. Fishermen. Look at the whole land. Look at that place. Bare land. Look. You know this road? This is a dual lane. This is currently the longest huge. It's about 12 to 10 lanes by side now. It's the Sheikh Zayed Road, right? The highway that leads all the Emirates together. From Dubai to Abu Dhabi to Sharjah to blah 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 blah. Look at it. Look at the plain lands there. Like, look at this. It's 1990. Just in 1990. 1997, they started building what's the name? Burj Al Arab, the only 7-star hotel in the world. If I was my father, right, in the year 2000, and I was hearing all this happening in Dubai, I swear to God, I would have moved all my family here, come and buy a huge land ranch or something, and then live here, because you have to support opportunities, right? I'm gonna share some secret of wealth creation to you. There are so many people who are from Pakistan, who are from India, who are from blah blah blah, who settled in this country so many decades back. When I sit in taxi, I speak with a lot of the taxi drivers. I've seen a taxi driver who literally was here from the year, he's been here in this country as an immigrant for like 23 years. I was asking myself that if I was in this country for 23 years ago, I promise you, you would have counted me as one of the billionaires in the country or in the world. Because you have to be able to see opportunity and tap from it. It gets to a point where the leadership of a particular jurisdiction is consciously aware of the progress of that place. They want to succeed. And then when you are smart enough to spot that trend and align yourself in that trend, right, then you succeed with the growth or the evolution of that place. But if you're in a place where it's just like retrogressing, right, just like Ghana is retrogressing. Ghana is retrogressing. Nigeria is retrogressing. In fact, 99% of African countries are retrogressing. I don't know which one is progressing. Perhaps the only one progressing is Rwanda. Kenya are doing a bit of effort in that. And quite recently, Egypt. But of course, they are not opening their doors to anybody. Egypt, because number one, it's also predominantly a Muslim country, and number two, they are very close to the Gulf, which is the Arabian world, right? And then I kind of realized that by hierarchy of leadership, the leaders in this sub-region, they like Egypt, right? Maybe because they are neighbors, they are very close to them. Though you must cross like a sea, you must cross the ocean from Egypt to the Gulf region. But they like Egypt, so most of their huge, estate corporations here, they've started establishing massive cities, not buildings, not single building, then it will become the country's monument, like we have in Ghana. If anybody takes a picture of this is Ghana, they want to show up, this is Ghana. Guess what they're going to show? They're going to show Villaggio and then Tetekwashi. Foolish place like that. That's the only place that they can be proud of. Villaggio, Tetekwashi. Every person who go, they want to take a drone shot of Accra, Ghana, and say, hey guys, this is all. They go and take Villaggio, Tetekwashi. This thing has been there for like God knows how many. Which are the developments. has now evolved in that region. The same thing over and over and over. Nonsense. People are building cities. People are not building one skyscraper, one building. No, people are building cities. A whole city. Like the whole ecosystem of the city is just created from scratch. Like where I am now, I'm in Dubai Marina. Right? You see the whole place I've been showing you in the views all the time. It did not exist some 5 years ago, some 10 years ago. This was just a bare land. Started from scratch to create it as a city. So now you can say I live at Dubai Marina because there's so many skyscrapers around here. You can see sometimes I take a walk around the marina. Marina is like water, literally. So you can see the yacht parking there, and then look just by that street. There's free Wi-Fi. There's chairs to sit there. You see people cleaning their yacht, people driving it around. There's a scooter there, right? And those electric scooters, you can use your card to just swipe up that scooter ride and then ride around the whole marina. Recreation. You see parents, mom and dad walking their newborn in the whole street. There's free Wi-Fi there, right? Go sit there, take your laptop. You want to do some research work. Nobody's going to bother you. Hey, you've been sitting here for so long. Hey, what are you doing here? Hey, wait. Nobody talks to you. There's shops around there. There are malls, and you go to Ghana, their only mall is Accra Mall. Accra Mall is not a mall. Accra Mall is a public shop. It's a shop. Accra Mall is a store. It's a store. Nobody call it Accra store, right? Accra store. Because you walk one lane, you curve and turn, and then you are out of Accra store. They say stores, and they've captured the middle of the city. They should demolish that nonsense store from that place. They should demolish that place. These people can create. Look here, every corner there's a mall. And it started from, like I said, right thinking, right processes, right leadership. It did not start from out of the scope. It started from one man saying, "I want to see this happen." That's why I'm so disappointed in so many of these African leaders who don't think about us. They don't think about anything about us. Then when it's election time, they come and say they're most competent and they're running the election, and like to win. Like then the new African must strive for greatness. The new African must yearn for these type of things. It's sad that I can disconnect myself out of the system. Look at where I'm living now. I can make my money, come and live here and enjoy all the good life. I can travel to every continent and just keep enjoying. But what about my people? Like what about us? What about those left behind there? Must they be in this state of misery when resources that are building these part of places are coming directly from there to this place? These leaders would have offshore accounts in all of these regions and give dual citizenship to all their children who would own passports in every Canadian, America, everywhere. I'm hitting you. Sorry, I'll hit you again. And be traveling, and then you, the citizen, election, you run. Early morning, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., you go and put stone there. That me na me bar first, I came first. You're fighting to vote, let's vote. Then if they are voting, do like this, do clean their thumb and lick it, and then stamp like I have voted. You're just being a fool to the system. You're just being a fool to the system. Nobody's going to tell you that. But you're literally just being a fool to the system. It's sad. It's sad. You cannot emphasize it enough. But we just have to endure and keep enduring and keep enduring and keep enduring. Endure to win. Endure to win. And I look at some of these things, I get sad for our country. Me, when it comes to Ghana, right? I think I really only respect the first generational leaders, which is like the first instituted creators, of like that region. Like if you talk about Ghana, you can mention Nkrumah, right? He's probably the only leader that in that region that will and forever earn my respect. That man was a futuristic man. White man is a black man's devil. You know, sometimes when I'm speaking like this, right? You want to like balance it out, but that is the reality. That is the truth. You know, that man had insane plans, and to date, some of the things that he created, right, is the same things that we are dependent on. This man created what's the name? A power plant, right? A power plant that provides electricity. Did you guys know that Ghana literally supplies Togo with electricity? And Ghana also supplies Ivory Coast with electricity from our only power plant. You didn't know, you know? And this was something that was created in 1960 something by the first leader who the white man again instigated with his own people to overthrow him. He was overthrown. You know why? Because he had two big visions, two big goals to elevate that continent. You know, he was friends with Lee Kuan Yew, right? Kwame Nkrumah was a very good friend with Lee Kuan Yew. Do you know who Lee Kuan Yew is? Don't know. Go and read about history of Singapore. Go and see who changed Singapore from scratch. You know, came to even Malaysia, right? Forgotten the leader of the Malaysian sub-region. They all came to borrow funds and then take some agricultural products and all of those things from here. Today, go and look at their place. Even today, if you're going there, even though much of their economic progress dependent on the relationship they built with our former president back in the days, they will ask, where is your passport? And sometimes they can even use yellow fever card to return you, you know, because you are a third world. You're not even qualified to be called second world. A third world. So which one is the first world and which one is the second world before you come to the third world? It's sad, you know. Watch some of them. See, 2005, you see? It was beginning to open up. Nothing here yet. You see? Clean land. 2008. Burj Khalifa almost at completion. You see around the Burj, no building there. Do you see around the Burj? If you've been to Dubai before, you know this. This is just 2010. Now look at this. Becoming. Now the Burj is completed. So many buildings around it now. Building more. 2015, look at this. 2017, look at this. They finished with the palm. This is the one that is just across my balcony. Right? You see here? 2017, Palm Jumeirah. That's the one that is just across my balcony over there. If you can see, if I zoom in, you can see the land there. Those lands there. That's this Palm Jumeirah here. Those branches. That's what you can see from my balcony. You see? Started building huge roads, huge infrastructure. Now see. Now we have here. It takes. Dubai 2017 equals Ghana 2023. You are joking. Dubai 2010 equals Ghana 2023. Correct that. Or in fact, Dubai 1990 is what is Ghana 2023. 2017 there's all the found great running. 2017 they had Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. 2017 you don't even have a building that is up to 60th floor. The tallest building in Ghana, the height is what? It's not even up to 30. Did you know that the tallest building in Ghana, the floor is not up to 30? And you say you're going to this place, Villaggio, what's the name? Rooftop bar, which is at the very peak of it. It's 25th floor, 25. Sky bar. No, you call it sky bar. It's not rooftop. Sky bar. 25. 25. 25. 2 and 5. That means that where I live now, where I if I'm supposed to be in Ghana and I'm living on the floor that I'm living here now, I should probably see the whole Ghana. You know, sad. It is sad. I always know that Africa is in